Well, hi you guys. Welcome to the Kneady Homesteader channel. I'm Heather. If you're new here, I know I have many new followers because of this workshop. I want to welcome you here. I'm going to share a little bit of my testimony with you in this video, so you kind of know where my heart lies and what my background is. But I have been a YouTuber here since 2007, but the Kneady Homesteader wasn't born until 2014, and it was born because God told me to turn on the camera and film my journey, my testimony as a struggling mama of 5 at that time. And all glory to God. So this is going to be week 1 of a 5-week workshop series where we are going to focus on the 5 P's of Pantry Peace. Now I have a million notes here. For those of you who don't know, I have 2 traumatic brain injuries, so I write everything down. I highlight things, I write things. I do love to journal, so excuse me if I hit on my notes and read them while I'm talking to you. I just don't want to forget anything, and this is a spirit-led workshop. This is not something that I had planned on doing. I was actually working on a business plan for my grief coaching business that I am in the midst of creating. And the Holy Spirit just, bam, out of the blue, laid this workshop on my heart, and kind of came out of the blue. And as I was trying to kind of piece it together, he just said, nope, you got to go now. You need to share this now. So this is a spirit-led workshop. Know that I'm praying for you. I prayed for you all last night. I prayed for you this morning, all in the shower while I was showering. You've been on my heart. You are on my mind. And this workshop is for you. Right now, currently, we are in the middle of a government shutdown. And as of next week, food assistance, the food assistance program, EBT, SNAP benefits, will no longer be available. That affects 1 in every 8 Americans. So that means 1 out of 8 of you depend on food assistance to fill your pantry, to fill your bellies, to feed your children. And so it's important. This is important, and this is going to be a very important workshop for the next 5 weeks. Because we're going to walk through how to prepare. How do you prepare for life's emergencies like this? And God has built me for this, for this task. I truly believe that. So, so we're going to do it, and we're not going to do it perfect. But it's okay, because God doesn't want perfect. He just wants preparation, and He just wants us to be good stewards of what He blesses us with. So the 5 weeks of Pantry Peace. Week 1, we're going to talk about planning. Week 2, we're going to talk about preparing. Week 3, we're going to talk about preserving. Week 4 is providing or provision. And week 5, we're going to talk about the pause or prayer, and how to root ourselves. So that is what we are going to do for the next 5 weeks. Probably on week 6, we'll do maybe a live stream where we'll do just a chit chat and see how everyone is doing. But today we are going to be focusing on stewardship, and how stewardship begins with structure. And we're going to be planning in peace, not pressure. Okay, not panic. So I want to talk a little bit about preparing, and you might want to grab a notebook, like just a little spiral notebook. I like these hard cover notebooks. I damage them less, but grab yourself a notebook, and let's just roll with it and get started. So have you ever looked inside your cupboards or your pantry and you've seen food but not meals? Like, you have stuff but not security. Most of us don't start building a pantry out of peace. We build it out of panic, out of fear of running out or not having enough, out of guilt for not having a better stocked kitchen. So we are going to pivot away from those three things. And we're going to pivot and change our heart posture. And we are going to really talk about what you can do now, especially if food is an issue for you, food security is an issue. What can you do now to start building that foundation to having a good working rotating pantry of abundance that you can actually meal plan from, prepare meals from, and feed your belly, feed your family without the stress, without the worry, without the panic, without the fear, without the shame. There's a lot of shame, especially when it comes to those on food assistance. I know, I've been there. So in 2014, my husband and my late husband and I were married. We had just had a baby. We were taking care of 7 kids. When it comes to, we had 5 living with us, 2 living with my late husband's ex-wife. And we were struggling. My husband was working full time, but it was a struggle. And we just needed a little help. We needed a little hand up. We needed just a little buffering because we were just really struggling, especially the last week. Our cupboards were bare, and we needed help. So we got on food assistance, and so I know firsthand the struggle. Been there. I grew up in a house of abundance until my parents divorced, and then my mom found herself with 2 little girls living in the projects in Detroit, in the city of Detroit, and we were on food assistance then. So I have been there, and I know the struggle. Now, all that to say, I didn't know how to cook from scratch. I've talked about that many times here on this channel. I thought making homemade food was opening a jar of Prego and actually boiling noodles instead of eating Chef Boyardee, because that's how I grew up, with a can of Chef Boyardee. So I thought home cooking was opening up a jar of sauce and boiling your own noodles. I had no idea how to make that sauce. I had no idea how to make noodles. So I look back now at my old grocery hauls video, because I used to do grocery haul videos. And I am now seeing like a lot of the shopping hauls that you see now where people on food assistance are made fun of because they're buying the prepackaged, pre-made meals. That was me at one time. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to cook from scratch. But even buying the cheapest meals, Hamburger Helper, S-Bar hot dogs, Kraft mac and cheese, ramen, even buying that, I was still struggling with making the food last for a month until my girlfriend Kneady came along. And multiple times she offered to teach me how to cook from scratch, and multiple times I turned her down and said, no, that sounds too hard. I don't know how to do that. I wouldn't know how to do that, Kneady. Until one day she called me and I was ugly crying and in a panic. And I said, okay, I'm ready. I can't live like this anymore. And so that began my journey to cooking from scratch. She had me get rid of all of my pre-made things. She made me buy all staples, flour, sugar, yeast, all of it. And I struggled. It was a lot. It took me like 4 hours to make dinner. It was a lot. I think I cried every night for the first month that I cooked. But with time, it got easier. And I was able to make meals stretch. All of a sudden, I didn't struggle anymore. We didn't struggle for food. We had an abundance. And from that abundance, I started buying only items that were on sale. Okay, and then I would buy one, get one. So I was looking for those buy one, get ones. I was looking at the buy one, get one half off, buy one, get one free. I would use one in my meal plan and put one back and put one by. And that's how I slowly started building up my pantry. But when I speak to you on this topic, I want you to know that I have been on both sides. And I know the struggle and I know the fear. I know going to bed hungry. Feeding our kids and going to bed without eating. I know the shame. I know the fear that there wasn't going to be enough and that my kids would go hungry. So I say all of that so that you know that I have a heart of compassion and a heart of empathy for those out there really struggling. So now what? So now what can we do? What can we do moving forward to ease that off of you like it was eased off of me? So that's what we're going to be talking about here in week 1, when we're going to talk about planning. We're going to build the foundation. Okay. And I also want to talk about the pillars of a framework for this. So 4 pillars of building our foundation. The first one is going to be inventory awareness. You can't build anything unless you know what you have. So knowing exactly what you already have on hand so that we can plan rooted in reality, not in guesswork, because the guesswork adds to the stress. Thinking that you have something, but then realizing you don't, or not realizing you have some things, but you do. So what we want to take all of the guesswork out. We want to go ahead and write an inventory list. We want to go to, and if you hear a bunch of jumping, it's my cats. We want to go through our fridge, our freezers, our cabinets, and we want to write down. So this is why I want you to grab a book. I want you to write down everything you have on hand. So part of not realizing what you have is when you're shopping. So if you're in your mind, in your memory's mind, thinking, oh, I need pasta. Oh, I need pasta. And every time you go shopping, you're grabbing pasta, but you're forgetting to get the sauce or the tomatoes needed to make the sauce. We're kind of going in blind. But if we have a checklist, we will know what we need, and we can create a needs list from there. So when we do go to the store, our shopping is purposeful and it's on point. It's not from guesswork. And so we're not spending money we don't need to be spending, especially at a time where we don't have that extra money to spend. Step 2 from that is going to be meal planning from inventory. So I know a lot of people that share meal planning videos think of their meal plan, what they're wanting to make, and then from there they create a shopping list. I am telling you, when you are struggling financially, when you don't have the means to do that money-wise, that is the worst way to meal plan. It is the way to spend the most money. We're not going to meal plan like that moving forward. Not here. We are going to be meal planning from what we have on hand. So what you might see as a bunch of ingredients, we're going to work on putting those ingredients together to make a meal, whether it be a meal, a casserole, a soup, whatever it is. But we are going to be cooking from what we have on hand and not creating a shopping list and buying what our heart desires. Because when we're struggling, when we're making ends meet, when we're trying to dial it back, that is no longer an option. So this is where a lot of grace is going to come in, a lot of humility, a lot of humbleness, and a heart of gratitude is going to change our mindset on this. And I just did research last night on a soup from the Deep Depression era called potato peel soup, where you would actually take potato peels and water and salt, and you would make a soup. If you made a loaf of bread and you sliced the loaf of bread up, you would take those crumbs, gather them up, put them in the soup as a thickener. People have struggled for generations. This is nothing new. This is just something that sometimes it's going to strengthen you, okay? There is purpose in the pain, and this will strengthen you and stretch you in ways that that one day, like me, you're going to have a testimony that you're going to be able to share to help others. But this isn't forever. This is just for right now. And so we're going to do what we need to do to get through what we need to get through. And we're going to make provisions, and we're going to stay on task, and we're going to get through it. So I'm going to help you as much as I can to do that. Our third pillar is going to be rotation. And this is really important because we don't want food to be expired. So oldest food is going to come first in the front of your cabinets, in front of your pantry. However big or however small your pantry, it does not matter. It does not matter, okay? Whether we're dealing with a huge walk-in pantry or we're dealing with one cabinet, it does not matter. We're gonna tackle it the same. And we're gonna have the older food in the front, newer in the back. So when you are shopping and you are replacing, the new product is going to go in the back and you're going to push everything older up front. This is going to eliminate things being expired in your pantry. This is going to eliminate waste. This is going to also cleaning out your pantry, organizing it so that you can see everything, so that you know that you have what you have. You're going to write it down. You know how to meal plan from that list. It eliminates forgetting something, skipping over something, buying something that you thought you thought you didn't have, but you actually had. It was in the pantry. It was just hidden in the back corner. So we're going to eliminate all of that. And then our fourth pillar is refill rhythm. Restocking intentionally based on the usage, and we will know that based on our rotation. So what we're rotating through, what we're using a lot of, and as those things run out, we're going to keep a list of things that we need to repurchase. So things that I want you to do this week on a checklist wise. The first one, I have taken inventory of my pantry and my freezer and my refrigerator. So write that down, and when you do that, check it off your checklist. Number two, I have listed staples that I regularly use. So as you're going through your pantry, whether it be a cabinet or, a walk-in pantry, I want you to keep in mind and keep written down what you use a lot of. For me in my house, we use a lot of peanut butter. I have a son who eats peanut butter every day. So that is something we use a lot. We eat a lot of tuna fish. So that is something I use a lot. Tuna fish goes with mayonnaise. Mayonnaise we use a lot. Ketchup we use a lot. Mustard we use a lot of. So those are my pantry staples, my must-haves that I have to constantly replenish, versus some things that I have in my pantry that I don't use that often, like taco sauce or risotto. Risotto is one of those things that is a side dish, but I don't use it on a continuous basis. So make sure you have a list of things that are your for sure staples that you have to have in your pantry all the time. Get that listed down and then check that off your list. Number three, I have meal planned around what I already have, and we're going to talk more about doing that a little bit later in this video, but we're only going to focus what you have on hand. If there's an item or two that you desperately need, say you're planning out a taco dinner, but you just don't have tortillas, then sorry for the activity. Then tortillas are going to go on your shopping list, but only that. And then you're going to buy tortillas that are on sale. So maybe not necessarily what you love, but what you like. Can you live with eating what you like versus only eating what you love? Well, when times are tight, you can learn to love what you like when the price is right. Okay, number four, I have created a restock list for the month. So while you're going through your pantry, I want you to keep a list of things that you're out of and that you desperately need. Not the things that you want, but the things that you need. Okay, there's a difference between want and need. And then last but not least, I've organized my shelves for easy visibility and rotation. When you can see everything and everything is rotated through and everything is organized, it makes meal planning so much easier, and it eliminates so much stress and anxiety. It's like having a clean house when everything is put in its place versus having a house that's chaotic. It just sets your mindset. So set some time aside this week, get that checklist done, and you will be on your way to building that foundation. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about stewardship and a hoarder mentality versus a steward mentality, because there is a difference. And in order to build our pantries from peace, not panic, we need to change our heart space and we need to change our mindset a bit. So I have a little list here of a hoarder mentality. So hoarder mentality is panic driven. think I have to grab everything before it's gone. We saw this during COVID when people were buying up the toilet paper. Remember that? That panic mindset of I've got to get it now. I've got to get it now. What happens is you're spending money that you don't necessarily need to be spending, and we need to stop that now. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to shop from panic. That whole mindset of just keep stocking it up, just keep stacking it up, stack it up, stack it up, stack it up, stack it up. Just get it. No, we're eliminating that. We are not going to be panic driven in our shopping. Buys what looks useful. So when you look at something and you think, oh, I could use that. Oh, I could use that. Now's not the time for that. We're going to only buy what we eat and what we need. Okay? So that we're saving money that we don't have right now to spend. Overfill spaces. I struggle with this. When I see a big space in my pantry, and I'll take you in my pantry and I'll show you. In my mind, immediately I'm like, oh, I gotta fill that. Oh, that's a bunch of empty, wasted space. I need to fill that. No, I do not. No, I do not, Heather. I will fill it eventually with things that I need, things that I use, things that I find maybe on sale, maybe a good deal, things that I, might can. But just because a space is empty it does not mean that I need to fill it right then and there. I can leave the space. God will provide, and He will fill the space. I don't need to do it. I don't need to push it. So empty spaces are okay. Okay? Just take a breath. That's what I have to do. Take a breath. Loses track of expiration. So when you start going through your pantry and you start seeing things that are expired, and I'm not talking like a month or two, because that's expired, but I'm talking a year or two. There are pantries that I see on YouTube that have not been rotated. They look the same as they did from videos that were filmed 5 years prior. So expiration, when you're letting things expire, you're not using it, you're not letting that food serve its purpose in feeding your family. Either one, don't buy it again because it's obviously something you don't need, you don't use, you don't enjoy. Or two, you're not putting it into good use. Either way, it's a hoarder mentality and not a mentality, not from a spirit of stewardship. So we want to eliminate that. And if you feel anxious or reactive in shopping or in filling your pantry, if you walk into your pantry and you feel anxious, that's a hoarder mindset. That is not from a spirit of stewardship. You should walk into your pantry or open up your pantry cabinet and feel peace and feel powerful and feel prepared. You should not feel anxious, stressed out, overwhelmed, full of anxiety. We're eliminating that. Okay, now let's talk about stewardship mentality, because it's a pivot. It's a different mindset. Purpose driven. So I know what my home needs and I prepare for it accordingly. I know what my home needs and I prepare accordingly. That is purpose driven. You know your task and you steward it well. You know everything in your pantry and the meals that you can create from it. And it does not bring you panic or stress or anxiety. It makes you feel empowered. It makes you feel intentional. It makes you feel strong, and it makes you feel secure. That's what we want. Buying what you actually need and buying what you actually use. That's stewardship mentality. For now, if money is an issue, don't buy, you've never used green olives before in a recipe. Save that. Now's not the time to explore new recipes and any of that. We are streamlining and we are going back to basics. So buy what you love, buy what you use. You oversee your space. You don't try to fill your space. Allow the extra space for room, knowing that provision will provide and those spaces will eventually be filled, but they don't need to be filled right now. Rotate intentionally. Lay hands on everything. I lay hands on everything in my pantry. I pray over my pantry. When you are intentional and you touch everything and know where everything is, it brings such empowerment. And less worry, no stress. I know exactly what's in my pantry and what I'm going to use it for. A stewardship mindset will make you feel calm and equipped. And I wrote down a few lines for you. A hoarder fills shelves from fear. A steward fills shelves from wisdom. A hoarder reacts to what might happen. A steward prepares for what most likely will happen. This is why I no longer call myself a prepper. I'm a preparer. I don't prep for what might happen. I prepare for what will probably most likely happen. Hoarding isolates you in scarcity. Stewardship invites you into responsibility, rhythm, and peace. Stewardship says, I'm not stockpiling to survive. I'm preparing to provide. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. Stewardship says, I'm not stockpiling to survive. I'm preparing to provide. You're not surviving, you're providing. So I want you to remember that preparedness is born from peace, not panic, not pressure. We're not building a doomsday bunker, okay? We're stewarding our home with intention. It's a mindset shift. Planning is progress. It's not perfection. So don't look to be perfect in this. In fact, you're not going to be perfect in this. So know going in, as you're going to be writing your list, you're not going to be perfect. That's okay. You can pivot anytime you want. You can change it up anytime you want. Do it. I want you to do it slow. I want you to do it intentionally. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by any of this. Okay, this is, I've made this workshop as simple as possible for you, based on what I have walked through, knowing that I felt very overwhelmed when I first started making and building a pantry. I didn't know what I was doing, and sometimes it just felt very overwhelming, and I don't want that for you. So we're going to do this nice and slow. Planning turns panic into peace, which turns into future stability. So you don't have to worry when things like this happen, the government shutdown, the EBT, it's okay. Because you are well prepared, because you have been stewarding your home and you have put food by. So you can make it through these hardships, these uncertain times. Okay, the way we're going to do this is need one, buy one. So when we do go grocery shopping, we are only going to shop sales where it's going to free up some money to where we can buy one for now and put one by. And this is how you're slowly going to build up a stockpile behind you. So something that, might cost, full price. Case in point, Prego spaghetti sauce. If you go to Kroger, it's $6.99 for Prego. I was able to find it on Amazon for $4 and I think it's like 39 cents, something like that. It's almost half price. So what I do is I order 2 off of Amazon for nearly the price that it would cost me for 1 at Kroger when it's not on sale. Many times when you see the, 2 for $3, 2 for $4, where you're saving a couple of dollars, you're buying 2 packages of it because it's, 2 for $3. You're going to use 1 in your meal plan for this week. You're going to put 1 by for next week. And this is how you're going to slowly build up your pantry. Start imperfectly. Just like me with this workshop. It's okay if it's not perfect. God doesn't want perfect. He wants obedience. It's okay to learn and grow as you do this and pivot for what works for you and what doesn't work for you. The main goal is just to get started. So start and don't look for perfection. Perfection is the enemy of preparedness. So we're going to focus on 5 to 7 meals. All right. And from there, even if you eat the same meal every week, and I know a woman, there's actually a woman who makes videos where she has one meal plan, 7 days a week. She makes the same thing every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every day of the week. She has a meal plan. But she doesn't have to stress over meal planning. She knows exactly what she's making on Monday, exactly what she's making on Taco Tuesday and Spaghetti Wednesday, and it does not change. Now, she might change it up on the shape of a noodle or maybe a flavor of a sauce, but for the most part, her meal plan is the same for every night of the week. Start there and see if something like that doesn't eliminate the stress of meal planning for you, because a lot of people just get very overwhelmed with the thought of meal planning. It's very stressful, especially if you've never done it before. So write a simple meal plan. Start with 5 days. If 7 days is too much and feels too rigid for you, start with 5 days. But get a meal plan together based on what you have on hand. And then if you need an ingredient or two, buy those, but only buy those on sale. But you might shock yourself. You might realize that you can make many meals from what you have on hand and you don't need to buy anything. But you won't know until you have an inventory. Just remember, feeling overwhelmed is a signal to simplify, not a signal to stop. Okay? So don't stop moving forward. Just simplify it. Make it easier. The whole goal to this is to make it easy for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to jot down a few answers to these questions. And this will really kind of hone in on how you want to steward your pantry and your kitchen. What meals make you feel safe and secure? Do you have comfort meals? For me, it's meatloaf and mashed potatoes. For me, it's also a tuna sandwich. A ham sandwich with Miracle Whip, something I had every day as a kid going to school when my mom made me lunch. So there are some foods that trigger memories for me that just bring me comfort and bring me peace. What are those meals for you? Write them down. When was the last time you felt panicked in your kitchen? When was the last time you walked into your kitchen and you felt anxiety, overwhelmed, lost, didn't know what to do, what to make? Didn't want to cook because just thinking about it was too overwhelming. When was the last time you felt that? Write it down. What kind of pantry would make you feel calmer? What kind of pantry is your ideal where you could work from it and feel peace? What does that look like for you? Because for everybody it's different. Some people don't want to walk in pantry. For them, that's very overwhelming. For some people, they just want to open up a couple of cabinets and have everything nice, neat, and organized. For some people, they want an entire room full of food or a whole basement full of food. So what is your dream pantry? What is your ideal? Focus on that and write it down. And then I want you to take a look at what obstacles have stopped you from meal planning or pantry building up until this point. What has your struggle been? What has been overwhelming to you? We can't fix it until we name it and claim it. So write it down so that you know what it is in your spirit that feels triggered doing something like this. And what is your blockage? What is preventing you from doing it? And then let's take a look at it so that we can heal it and we can move forward. Now, I know I've given you quite a list of things to do this next week. I have made a pantry piece workshop, like a PDF file. It's a checklist. It's a structure, okay, to try to help you walk through this if writing it all down just seems a little overwhelming. I have typed it out for you. So I made it into 3 pages, okay, and this way it's hopefully that's focusing. Hopefully this allows you some extra room on the bottom, because that's what I do when I when I take notes. like, I like half empty pages because I'm a note taker. So I have given you some extra space to write down, to take notes, to maybe even do your checklist if you don't have a ledger or an extra notebook. You can do it right here on this paper. So I'm going to try to get this PDF free for you. It'll be down in the description box. I'm working with my girlfriend Constance right now to build my website. It's going to be kneadyhomesteader.com. Once that's up and running, I will be able to put this PDF file on my website for you. So you'll always have it. You'll be able to go over there. Anybody who's not watching this in live time right now, but you find this video a year from now, you'll be able to go over to my website and find the PDF and print it out. I'm going to try my very best to make this as easy as possible for you. But here, I'm going to spin you around. We can just kind of go through this together. Stewardship begins with structure, okay? Planning in peace, not from pressure. This is a little welcome. The section 1 here is know your home's needs. A steward plans with purpose, not panic. How many people are you feeding? So I left you a little spot for how many adults and how many children. How many meals are eaten at your home daily? For, a family like mine, we eat all of our meals here. My children are homeschooled, so we eat every meal here, every snack here. But for some people whose children might eat breakfast and lunch at school and you're only having to make dinners at night, that answer might be different for you. So depending on your needs, how many meals are you eating at home a day? How long am I preparing to sustain my home for? What is your ideal pantry? Would you like a week, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I mean, you could do 2 weeks, you could do a year. But I just wanted to give you something to think about what your long-term goal is, what you would like, what your short-term goal is and what your long-term goal is. If you don't have a pantry, your goal might be just to have a week's worth of food. And then once you get that, you might want 2 weeks of food, 30 days of food. You might want to work your way up. It's up to you. This is your pantry. This is your stewardship. So, so think about what you would like to have. Section 2 is your current pantry snapshot. So I have different categories here. Now again, this is it's not going to include everything. I'm keeping this as simple as possible so you're not overwhelmed. I have breakfast items, proteins such as canned and frozen, vegetables, fresh and canned, carbs and starches like your rice and your pasta, baking staples like your flour, your sugar, and your yeast, and emergency shelf-stable items. That might be tuna fish or salmon or spam, ramen, anything of that nature. Do I have enough? What are my most used items? And what am I running low on? Again, this is just a quick little snapshot. Section 3, meals I make most often. So plan from familiarity. When you're meal planning for the first time, again, don't try to, make something like beef Wellington that you've never made before. Just keep it simple and keep it to the things that you love. For me, it would be, most definitely would be tacos. It would be a sloppy joe. It would be a spaghetti. It would be a chili. I'm trying to think of some other things that we have on the regular. Probably a pot pie of some kind. We do chicken pot pie, beef pot pie, a cheeseburger pie, and a soup. So I gave you 5. You can do 7 if you want, but 7 if you feel overwhelmed. Let's just start with 5, and then let's meal plan from those 5 meals that you love and that you eat on a regular basis. Then section 4 is rotation awareness, right? First in, first out. So from there, my oldest items are stored in, for me, it's 5-gallon buckets. And I will begin rotating by, and then have a game plan of how you want to rotate through your pantry. For me, it's once a week. I go in there, I lay hands on everything, I pull everything forward. In fact, I didn't do that yesterday. I usually do that on Sunday when I meal plan, but I saved that so I can take you into my pantry and show you. And then section 5, my next pantry priorities. Where do you want to see your pantry? Where do you want to take it? Versus where we're starting right now, what is your goal for your pantry? What is going to bring you the most peace? and the most security. Go ahead and write those down. I want you to remember that perfection is the enemy of preparedness. I want to remind you to start where you are. This is not panic. This is stewardship. And this is peace. The wise woman builds her house. Proverbs 14:1. Because I'm a WOG, a woman of God, I'm going to leave you with two other pieces of scripture. The first one is Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. And 1 Corinthians 14:33. God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. And I really hope that this workshop brings you peace. With that, I'm going to show you how I come in here and I take a look at how far back everything goes. I bring everything forward. This is all my stock, as you can see. I've been using quite a bit of it. Look at this. Big empty space, right? So, being diligent with what you have, bringing things forward so that I know what I have on hand and I know what I need to fill. Same thing here. Here's my home canned celery. As you can see, I'm running low. So I've got 6 jars of that left. Carrots, used a few of these. So I'm going to bring these forward. But I'm going to take inventory of what I have and how many I have left. So all kinds of things like beans. I'm completely out of cannellini now, so I need to restock that. My pickles, my jams. We've been going through some jelly and jams. I'm gonna bring those forward and make an inventory. My shelf with my corn. See, throughout the week, especially when you have kids coming in, you write, hey, Mason or Mina, go grab me some corn. Things can fall over. Things can get messy. So it's just a good idea to come in here and just sit in here with the stool. I bring everything forward and I take a good look at what I'm running low on. Okay, so these are all my big cans of this. Anytime I have a dented can, I like to use that next because that just makes it not last as long on your shelf. But I have more sauce coming because I get a really good deal on Amazon for them. So when that comes in on November 1st, I will put my new cans in the back, rotate all these forward. As you see here, right, we're gonna start bringing all of this forward. You know, as you're home cooking throughout the week, it's really easy for our pantries to start looking untidy, unorganized. And so get in here and organize them. When I have a new box of paste coming, I will fill it back here and will be restocked. Look at how low I am on tuna. We've been eating a lot of tuna lately. So need a restock on that. So that'll be a note. So this is how I here laying hands on everything, making notes of what I need to buy, and staying within that sale budget where if I need something and it's not on sale, I don't buy it. I hope and I pray, Lord, I hope I put this message out. I hope it was helpful for you. Your feedback means a lot. Please leave it down below in the comment section for me. Let me know if you have any questions. I will try my very best to answer them. I don't have a team here at the Kneady Homesteader. It's just me and sometimes Mina. She helps me with thumbnails. But I will try my very best to answer them. As far as my membership goes, I have a $5 membership and then I have an inner circle that's a bit more money. But those folks have my phone number, so they're able to get a hold of me at any time. But if you are in either one of those memberships, my VIP or my inner circle, I will be doing a live stream probably this evening with you guys, talking about this topic, making sure you guys are set up for success. So if you are in the membership, look for that video. That'll be out just for you, for members. If you are interested in something like that for $5 a month, you can click the join button that's right below this video, and you can come join the membership and hang out with us. I just want to make sure that that I share as much as, the Lord has brought me through such tribulation, such trials, and He has prepared me for this. Not to teach you per se, but walk with you as somebody who has walked through it before. And know that I'm praying for you. Know that you're laying on my heart. And know that I am going to be dedicating the next 5 or 6 weeks directly to you. I love you all. God bless you. God has you. You're going to be okay. You're already okay. It's going to be okay. All right. I will see you next week for week number 2.